Anjir. Nunggu lama-lama update masihan anjir. Ya Allah. Wah, udah sore. Baru balik tadi habis beli patagor. Nungguin Genshin update sambil makan batagor.
guys.
Kowe ngapain, Pet? Halo,
Hah?
Pet. Kowe ngapain, Cok, tadi?
Ambil motor, Cuk.
Bangsat. Oh, akhirnya udah selesai. Hmm.
Pompa ban dulu. Kue billingnya berapa jam itu?
Aku masih sisa 3 jam kok, Cok.
Oh ya udah, bentar ya.
Salah mencet.
There is no escape.
Oh. Oh, ha. Konnichiwa. Sambil makan batagor. Loh. Gak kepake. Loh. Oh udah. Wah, nggak bisa dipakai.
Off we go.
Tumben nggak komen.
The insolent shall be punished.
Evil conquering! Worthless! Here! Worthless!
Off we go.
Oke banget.
The merrier. Shine longer. Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
Oh. Cara kesini
Benny's
gimana
adventure
ya?
team, assemble!
Kok saya lupa.
Adventure time!
No. Alah.
Let's light it up! Off we go! Everybody stand back!
Allah, Allah.
Disappear! Here! Worthless! Boring! Worthless!
Huh?
Loh, malah hilang gimana sih?
Useless.
We go.
Balik lagi.
Anjir, kok gak main sama Apis kah?
Habis sudah hancur katanya.
Suruh mama.
Mama. Oh, ini di startin dulu. Oh,
Pengen punya warnet, mau main di warnet, anjing.
bangsat punya warnet, mau main ke warnet, tolol anjing.
Monitor kayak tayu ini, anjing, mau main Valo gimana, bangsat.
Anjing marah-marah. Ah, ini satu mulu ngeto. Oh, wait. What the What the fuck? Ini ku setarain dulu. Nah. Ya
Tuh,
ininya
aneh
yang
pasti
gak
tuh.
setara, tolol lagi. Allah.
Pengen main Genshin tuh.
Main lah anjing, gue kan ada akunnya Bill tuh.
Nggak mau, maksudnya gini apa ya? Ayo emang ada, cuman kan anjing bil ketinggalan jauh gitu loh, bangsat. Kayak males saya grinding, Cuk. Mau yang langsung.
Ya lu tolol anjing, maunya langsung.
Oh iya dong, saya kan apa maunya langsung setiap hari itu saya yang daily.
We go.
Saya yang bunuh monster biar dapat
Bunuh-bunuh
program apa namanya? Anjing?
Primogem anjing, primogem.
Ya, primogem.
Bentar,
Adventure
cara
time.
ininya gimana? Tinggal gitu doang.
Sekarang ngapain?
Good things
Oh
come
iya
to those who
Jo, ada
don't wait
game di Epic
around.
Games loh. Aku nggak
That's
mau
what they
klaim
say
kok.
anyway.
Apa tuh?
Knowing my luck, the opposite is probably
Ada
true for me.
game,
Kenapa Epic Game tuh?
ada game gratis.
Stumble po.
Anjing, stumble matamu. Stumble udah gratis.
Bukan
anjing,
Stumble
di
ya anjing, bukan siapa apa?
Steam. Fall Guys.
Oh ya Fall Guys anjing.
Ya ada sih. Cuman nggak tahu aku udah ada anjing di Steam. Aku udah beli pas itu.
No one's joined me on an adventure in ages.
Emang
Come
emang
on,
bisa
let's
itu
go.
tuh? Apa bisa itu emang? Bisa itu. Apa namanya?
Apa ngentot?
Benny's
Maksudnya,
adventure team, assemble!
Steam sama Epic Game tuh bisa apa? Bisa kayak
Bisa. Selama satu game ya bisa, Cok.
iya sih. Dingin. Dingin rule dingin. Amrul.
Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
Iya, Arul Slebeu cuy.
Arul Slebeu. Dingin.
Arul Slebeu.
Dingin.
Dingin bet lu, Rul. Saking dinginnya aku sampai dingin.
Saking dinginnya aku sampai ngaceng gitu aja. Anjing. Voice changer yang ngentot banget.
Let's light it up! I'm going in! Illusion shattered! Guys.
Arul Slebeu.
There is no escape!
Fall Guys emang masih ada, Cok.
Tahu nih, aku mau cek ini. Kayaknya ada deh. Kalau ada pun main sih.
Main lah, masa enggak?
Iya ada ding, ada. Gratis.
Gas lah. Bentar gua buka Epic Game.
Wasn't there something
Available bulan 6 21 Juni.
Bulan
Oh
6
enggak, belum ada, Cok. Masih
Best.
tanggal 21
lusa.
lagi.
Lusa anjing. Tai.
Ya dua hari lagi, Cok. Bulan 6 Juni toh.
Iya, anjing.
Iya.
Kan habis Mei. Mei kan 5 tuh.
Main lah, pasti seru, Cok. Lebih langsung stumble naik peer, Cok.
Fall
Di
Guys
tier
anjing.
B. Hah? Oh iya.
Anjing tabel.
Kekenan stumble kemarin.
Useless.
Wah, anjing. Wow, fuck you. Oh, bro, what is this? Sangat realistis sekali.
Aku kayaknya nggak bisa main deh.
Main apa, Cok? Fall Guys.
Follow lah.
Kenapa, Cok?
Tunggu lah. Ada. monitor atau aku monitor 760 Hz saja bisa plat 3.
Hah?
Kowe
Monitormu berapa, Cok?
aku monitorku 60 Hz loh anjing.
Cok ya kowe bayangin aja lah anjing. Kowe tuh main tiap hari bangsat. Aku tuh main tuh seminggu sekali anjing.
Ya main aja.
Ya kali, Cok, PC aku bawa pulang anjing.
Ya tergantung skill anjing, cuman kayak maksudnya aku yang 60 Hz bisa plat, kowe yang lebih dariku nggak bisa ngentot. Ya gimana gitu.
Bangsat kowe bandingin sama laptopku bawa anjing mau anjing bangsat.
Life goes on. Orders given. Orders received. Everybody stand!
Evil conquering. Here. Worthless. Worthless. Here.
Oh, monitormu 60 Hz tapi RAM-mu gede bangsat.
Itu nggak ngaruh cok, walaupun 24 maupun monitor kayak gitu mana bisa cakup.
Worthless.
Monitor kan murah, Cok, gantinya. Nggak murah sih ya, paling sejuta lah kalau mau bagus, Cok.
1 juta sih, 1 juta dapat apa goblok?
Dapat itu, Cok, apa? Gerobak bakso, Cok. 1 gerobak dapat.
Kan
Torn to oblivion!
mau mandi cok, habisnya mau pergi.
Wah, kemana, Cok?
Pergi curi televisi.
Bangsat. Dijadiin monitor habis itu anjing.
Let's light it up!
Wah. Ngedit sama Yelan. Let's go.
Traveler, Paimon, it's been a long time.
Oh, hey, Hoist. Fancy meeting you.
Thanks to the help of people like you and colleagues like Ganyu. But I've been feeling just... it's a long... Nothing specifically. He's not unwell. He's always said, old age comes for us all in the end. Anyway, my father's currently on the 2nd floor of Yangsheng Tea House. Why don't you come pay him a visit with me? He seems very fond of you, too.
Sure, let's go.
Adventure time!
Uncle Tien, we're here to chat with you.
Oh? What a lovely surprise. Welcome. Oishi, why don't you go downstairs and get the shopkeeper to make us a fresh pot of tea? I heard that you've been traveling all over the place recently. I would very much... Hoishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry. I'm quite all right. It's as I grow older, I'm starting to find that with many things, though the mind is willing, the flesh is weak. Especially recently, I've noticed a rather drastic drop in my energy levels. I am still very much in good standing as the Tianshu today. Nevertheless, I wish to pass on the position.
How difficult is it to transfer the Tianshu position?
Oh, well, you see, the Tianshu is a rather unique position among the Liyue Qixing. Historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We stay behind the scenes, planning and giving advice. So a public selection process would not be suitable. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu candidates free from influence by outside forces, so we tend to be as discreet as possible in their assessment and appointment. For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends their candidate of choice, and this is then approved by the other Qixing members.
So in other words, you pick someone, and then Lady Keqing, Lady Ningguang, and the other Qixing appoint them?
Correct.
Correct.
Unfortunately, due to my health, I won't be able to assess every candidate myself.
Candidate
Not to despair,
myself.
however, because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my behalf as assessment officer.
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than this to forget all about me.
It's Yelan!
Jackpot. Uncle Tian here asked me to assess 3 candidates for him. Fancy joining me? You'll be among the first to get to know the next Tianshu. Might be a good opportunity for you.
Yang nonton pasti ngantuk ya.
What do you think? Paimon thinks so too. It can't be a bad thing to be on good terms with a new Qixing, right?
All right then. Though, I gotta say, Uncle Tian, you say you're into behind-the-scenes
Huh? Yelan, you want to be the next Tianshu?
I'm not opposed to the idea, but I suspect Ningguang wouldn't let you go very easily after how long you've been working together. So, how about this? If your investigation reveals that none of the other candidates are qualified for the position, I'll recommend you for the job.
Deal. Well, you guys take your time. Everything's all set for the assessments to go ahead. Meet me on the first floor when you're ready. Until then, have a pleasant conversation. Oh, and no need to pay for your tea. As the new owner of this fine establishment, this runs on the house. You're all set?
Uncle Tian seems really worn down. It's like all his energy's gone.
Ngantuk gak? Ngantuk gak? Ngantuk gak? Ngantuk gak? Ngantuk gak? Ngantuk angkat tangan.
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tian is past his prime. He's not cut out for this anymore. So he's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are Qinwei, Mingguo, and Zhi. Qinwei is a wealthy entrepreneur. Mingguo works at the Liyue Ministry of Civil Affairs, and Zhi is focused on study and travel. Try to keep all that in mind. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you forget, since we'll be assessing them at Yuehai Pavilion in a short while.
Qianwei, Mingguo, Zhi. Paimon should be able to remember their names, but what does the assessment involve exactly?
Let's leave that until we get to Yuehai Pavilion. All right. Heads in the game, people. The stakes don't get much higher than a change in the xixix. We can't afford to miss anything. No.
Got it. We'll keep our eyes wide open.
Boring!
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I don't even get a chair. I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made to stand while I'm waiting for an appointment.
Oh, I mean, I think it's fine.
That's called being complacent. If you're happy to just accept the way things are, you'll never be able to change anything in the future.
Oh, come on. That's just... Now you're just being unreasonable.
All right, you two. Let's not get into a big argument over Qianwei. That was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. We've all been standing around for a while. It's natural to be getting irritable. Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait, so why don't we borrow some chairs from the guild nearby?
Fine. They're not the best quality chairs, to be sure. But under the circumstances, it would be better than nothing.
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived. We'll meet them formally soon. Before that, let me run you through the assessment. I've split it into 2 stages. Current affairs and planning, and face-to... In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. In the second stage, we will ask... Writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Wow. One of them is
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianshu will be... Failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. Therefore, there's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of what each person's... I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me know when... Finished, huh? What did you think?
everyone took it very...
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked as the new Tianshu, so you can bet they're putting... And keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. Nobody wants to have any regrets. That's for me to know and you to We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time. Start with Chenwei.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you two are the assessment officers, are you? I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in person. I certainly hadn't imagined I'd be seeing two entirely unfamiliar faces. I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp. It was written with an expert audience in mind, after all.
Mind your tone, mister.
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was simply stating a fact. Cloud Retainer? You know this Adeptus? Oh, yes, I remember. With your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps you will be able to understand the concepts I have put forward. Yeah, although I shouldn't get...
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Please introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I work in the Ministry of Civil Affairs. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months, and 3 days. In that time, I've handled, I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in, my current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts.
Is it just Paimon, or is...
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction there.
Oh,
Hello. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little nervous. What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away.
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be sure?
Very fair question. I completely understand where you're... But I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more expertise than myself, and my manifesto is... Of course, two different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach two very contradictory conclusions depending on which one you're focusing on. What I've tried to do is strike a balance. In other words, present an optimal solution to all the problems as a whole.
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed solution being the optimal one?
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the Yuehai Pavilion evaluate any proposals before implementation. Post-implementation, if it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor results, I would take responsibility.
Nice answer. All right.
He seems like a great guy. Everything he said was thoughtful and logical.
Here's my take on what we just... As you saw, Chenwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes many excellent ideas in his manifesto, but he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. He doesn't care much about other people's feelings. Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell he's meticulous in his work, but he and Chenwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingbo is not very articulate and comes across as very timid in conversation.
Perfect summary. Paimon couldn't agree more.
Last but not least, Yi. His manifesto is full of pertinent details, his methodology is sound, and the depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone like
Great.
We'll see.
Oh, Mingsi.
I see. Then it's...
All right. Then let me ask this. The ideas in Yi's manifesto are very similar to your own. Is there any particular reason?
I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates, for fear of affecting your judgment. Those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past. It's only natural that they share some. But Xin Wei went on to focus on his business, and Ming Guo has always been occupied with his work at the Ministry of Civil Affairs.
Whoa! So how did you get to know them?
Chen Wei was referred to me by an old friend. Ming Guo came to my attention in the course of my work. As for Jerry, we first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know each other, Jerry came from a poor family, and his parents died when he was very young. He reminded me of a younger version of myself, so I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing and noticed how quickly he got quiet. And now, all of a sudden, he's grown. The young are growing.
I don't know, Uncle Tian. You
Skip,
still
ya
seem in
Allah.
pretty good shape to me. You might have another few years of work left in you, don't you think?
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. Having less energy than I used to isn't such a bad thing.
Sounds like you sure love
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh, and freshly caught fish.
fresh fish soup. Sounds tasty.
Doesn't it? Also, some time ago, when we've been fishing recently, Jerry always brings some extra ingredients he prepared. That flavor makes for a fond memory.
Oh, can Paimon come next?
Let's get back to the matter at hand.
I appointed you as the assessment officer. Had you not asked me why Jerry's ideas were so similar to mine, I was not going to mention my history with any of them. This decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please disregard or remember, you must be thorough.
Understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tian. So, it's gonna... His manifesto was written like...
Easy. Let's not rush. There's no time limit.
Huh? So,
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me give you a word of advice. The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden beneath many layers of deception. You have to get information through many different channels. For example, when you...
Yes?
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
ugh! Who are they?
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shanghua. As my trusted assistants, they are always standing guard nearby. They also perform. Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also Upei, who's not here right now.
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right? I seem to remember that he can't swim.
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and waves.
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, go to the Ministry of Civil Affairs and look through Mingbo's work files.
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Juri?
Zhi, well, obviously as the most promising Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people passing through there. You can find...
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to Bulai? He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe he has some news for...
That...
Huh? What's Bulai doing here today?
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this price. How am I supposed to turn a profit?
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, This is the single best batch of Sunsettias ever. You won't find anyone who I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned sweet.
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded yet. If you won't take him, I'll just have to partner with them instead.
Okay, well, when you put it that way, I'll accept your asking price. Oh, what are you doing here? And to be clear, these Sunsettias are mine. I got to them first. Don't get...
Actually, we want to ask you about a guy called
Jerry? Yes, he's quite well known. I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. His parents died when he was young, and he was treated cruelly. One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time, but Jerry never retaliated. And when his neighbor went bankrupt, he even helped support the family. He returned cruelty with kindness, injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and character, and...
He sounds like a decent man.
Why are you asking about him anyway? You aren't... Well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the... That's Jerry right over there.
Where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Yelan. Come on, try not to let him see you. We want this information to...
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this.
I understand. Let's walk and talk.
What's the hurry? Don't get too close, or he'll see you. Try not to let him see you. We want this information.
I understand. Let's walk and talk. So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine, who likes to have a drink now and then, he fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me, then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Thank you very much, Miss Yelan.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Jerry. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see. I'll be sure to pick out a good set for you. You can count on me. Jerry seems to get along really well with everyone. Are you satisfied now, Yelan? Seems like...
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go check out the wharf.
Do we have to? Wait, you're not just trying to dig up some...
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But hey, if I do become Tianshu, I'll look out for you guys. You'll be able to try all the finest food for free. How does...
We will? Well, come on!
You can't beat the atmosphere here.
Useless.
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers.
Ah.
Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the, we've heard about this young man called Juri, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman.
Whoa! Yelan made up a whole fake identity.
Ah, yes, Juri. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place, and they tell me everywhere they go they meet someone who's heard of him. Apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. Had to work several jobs alongside his studies to make ends meet. How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if there's anything to that logic, he's sure to be phenomenally...
Yeah, we think so.
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
Oh? Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he catches to me on occasion. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about. If you're looking to recruit some new members, though, I do...
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to right now, though, so... Why don't I come back some other time and we can chat over a drink?
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Jalan-jalan sama Yelan.
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for one. You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello, we're from these...
Wow, she switched identity again.
Bentar, tadi bilang apa? Satu kan 300 mora. 3 1000 mora. Dia yang untung dong.
Society for Fish Price Research.
Mending aku beli
I haven't done
satu-satu
anything
ya.
illegal.
Satu-satu
Stay
dan
out of
dia
my business.
900 mora. Ikan apa ya kayak gini yang gede-gede?
Please, don't worry. We're just here to... We've heard about a certain Juri who's been selling fresh fish at low prices in this...
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was him.
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father, he was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had abandoned, and he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But, I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a few mora. So, I wouldn't be surprised. It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business. Don't tell him I said that.
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that I think he has pretty low self-esteem. But hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him. That's all.
I see. Well,
not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. Okay.
Hey, it's you guys! Wait, what's the phrase? Oh yeah, honored to meet you. What brings you to me?
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great
Really? People said I know everything there is to know?
But of course. We also heard that Master Dugu is a kind and virtuous swordsman who...
Great! So what do you wish to know? Nothing happens on this street that I don't know about.
Now she's lying to a kid.
So, Master Dugu, have you heard of one by the name of Jur-E?
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about these days? I've heard many tales of Juri. For example, probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then let me ask you this. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, I know that. It was about 2 or 3 months ago. Before that, people always used to talk about Juri in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But 2 or 3 months ago, suddenly everyone started to like him. Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Just as I thought.
Huh?
I mean, just
I'm not that. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before talking about.
Oh, definitely.
Great. So next time I see them, I'll say hi. And I guess I can share some of my candies with them too.
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure my friend would also like to say hi to them.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well, Master Dugu.
Until we meet again.
Any of that sound strange to you?
Strange? Juri seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle Gap.
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost seems too good to be true.
Sudden?
So he returns cruelty with kindness and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. But Uncle Soon said even his friends who travel far and wide hear about him wherever they go. Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Jur-E's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Jur-E has only been happening within the last 2 or 3 months. His childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor. None of these are recent events. So why are these stories only going around now?
When you put it like that, it is kinda strange.
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it. Jur-E was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying, traveling, or paying off debt. Right. And that changes everything. It can mean a powerful faction is trying to gain influence. That's the worst case scenario. But all too often, the most pessimistic speculation...
Someone's trying to gain influence over the xixix? That sounds serious. What should we do? Even if we ask Juri about it, surely they're...
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry, I've got a Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after whoever is secretly helping Jur-E must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. So, we should be able to find some hints in Jur-E. Come on, let's get back.
Let's go. Di kamar aku.
Jur-E's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one. Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long.
Yikes! We better hurry!
Whatever else Uncle Tian might think of Jur-E, the fact remains that he's one of his... Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious.
Even though Yelan took half, well...
Apa ya? Kita menjaga dan fakut yang meninggalkan harta itu mengalami tapi karena kita telah mengadikasa menemui hambatan banyak proyek terpaksa dibatalkan. Para pekerja Black Cliff Force sudah lama menganggur di area Golden House jika ada proyek baru sesuai para pekerja di sana harus diprioritaskan. Pembahasan dan penambahan rezeki keuangan berkelanjutan. Jateng jalan. Data yang mulai diketahui Gongsang Suara dan Kim Yun Pik menghambat jalur dan setelah puncak pengenalan hanya dimulai 51 kalangan bahasa sama
Oh, this reading is giving...
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers! Shut! If you're back, that means...
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just...
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Qianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive... The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Qianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their...
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of the businesses under his...
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked around and found out that almost all of Qianwei's accounts are open to the public. Where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protecting it at all. Qianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is pretty infuriating when you think about it.
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business to make mora.
To validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights.
I'm back! Huh? How come you're here?
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills, and am always one step ahead of—
You... Ugh, whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I hadn't had something else to take care of on the way, I would have been back long before you. Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating...
Well,
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Minghua struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting with strangers. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the Ministry of Civil Affairs was...
in your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Ming...
I don't believe so. Minghua is someone who has slowly but surely earned the reputation he has today. According to Miss Yu, the ministry often gets Minghua to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Minghua gave them the scolding of a lifetime. Apparently, he can be terrifying when he loses his temper.
Whoa. That's...
Like I said before, things are not always as they appear.
Ah! So that's what you meant by that.
Thank you both. You're free to go now. So, have you finished reading the manifesto? can't see any immediate problems looking at the end. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Chengshu Pool redevelopment plan. Chengshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there, so there are even more secrets buried deep underground. At some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure buried beneath Chengshu Pool. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team conducted an
So, did they find any treasure?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the solid rock, the technology wasn't mature enough at that time. So the excavation project was shut down. Zhiyi's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this treasure. The treasure hoarder...
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of the manifesto? Oh yeah! Juri said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first refusal if any suitable projects come up.
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Juri wants the Blackcliff Forge to excavate...
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is...
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any powerful factions at present. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should see where they...
Shenwei and Ningbo both turned out to be completely different than what we thought.
Jadi kayak apa? Yang paling dicurigai selama ini tuh Ziyi. Tapi kalau Mingbo kayak orang perlahan tapi pasti. Perlahan tapi pasti itu kayak orangnya kayak gimana?
Demons do not stop for the raid. Move.
This is the Blackcliff Forge. Let's look around for clues.
Anything strange been going on recently?
Excuse me?
Just, stuff that...
Huh?
I don't think we're going to get anywhere asking questions like that.
What's this?
From the back, it looks like a ledger. But it seems they also use... We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, don't you?
You think there's this...
Yes. Look, it says right there, one of them's already been promoted. At this rate, by the time the Chengshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready to roll, they'll be the technical backbone of the team. That'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy any secret texts or steal any treasure they find. Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Juri recommends the Blackcliff Forge for the excavation project, at most we would maybe do a fresh... No red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decided to vet the staff individually, they'd have had more than enough time by then to come up with fake identities. That's the advantage of planning this far in advance.
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If we hadn't found this out, someone else would have stolen the So, who's real?
That's a question for the newcomers. But let's start with the...
Excuse us. We wanna...
You want them to teach you or something? I gotta say, these newcomers are in tip-top shape. Fast learners, too. They're picking up all the skills unbelievably fast. My only complaint is that they're always going out drinking at night. But they never let... I guess they just need some time to adjust.
They go out drinking. This area isn't exactly renowned for the nightlife. I'm guessing it's a...
You got that right. They tell me they go all the way back to Liu. It rained after work today, so they actually stuck around at the site for a while. But as soon as the rain... Hey, you're only young once, right? I say, if they can hack it, let them...
Interesting. Looks like our hunch was on the Mora. These newcomers are very suspicious. Drinking in Liyue Harbor, huh? Some cover story. Good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints. I doubt they'd give themselves away that easily, but...
They went that way! Hurry, we gotta catch up!
Useless.
These footprints are heading towards Liyue Harbor. Maybe we were wrong about them.
Just as I thought. They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way. The footprints stop here. But, judging from the direction, I'm guessing their destination was that abandoned house.
Itu ada orang. Oh, bukan, salah lihat. Padam tapi aku nyalain lagi.
Looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers rendezvous with whoever they're working for. Look at these ashes. Someone was burning documents not long before we arrived.
Could there be anything left? Maybe the wind could have blown the fire out?
The odds of that are very slim. It's practically impossible. I've checked. All the paper's been burned. There's only ash left now.
Why don't we wait for them back at the Black Cliff Forge? They've gotta go back there soon.
We can't count on that. Clearly they were based here at one point, but it's mysteriously abandoned now. To me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere else to throw our investigation off course.
Darn! Guess this is where our trail runs cold.
Make no mistake, the purpose of our trip wasn't to find any solid evidence. We just need to figure out who's behind Jur-E. I smelled something peculiar the moment I came in. Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they failed to consider is that paper and ink from different regions produce...
Really? Paimon can't smell anything. Do you smell anything?
There is a certain place with a freezing cold climate where there's nothing. Some wealthy people there put floral fragrance in their ink as a way of injecting a little when that fragrant ink is burned. This is the exact odor that it leaves behind. Exactly. The evidence will soon be blown away by the wind, so it's nothing we can arrest anyone with. But it's all I need. Now I know who we're dealing with. I can plan our next move.
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you again.
Who are you?
Don't be alarmed. This is Upei. He's Wenyuan and Shanghua's. I sent him to look into Jur-E's regular contacts. Since Jur-E likes fishing, Upei thought he might know some of the fishermen and sailors. I left him a note at Yanshang Tea House telling him to look for me at Black Cliff Forge when he got back. If there'd been an ambush waiting for us there, it means we'd have had some backup. So, what did you find out at sea?
Forgive my incompetence. I'm afraid I've come up empty-handed. I asked all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Jur-E before. Then the waves got so choppy I ended up falling overboard. Fortunately, someone managed to drag me out. When I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Black Cliff Forge and might need backup, so I went straight there as fast as I could. Didn't even stop to change my clothes.
Well, Uncle Tian said that Jur-E once bought a recipe from one of...
What? No, that's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. Lady Yelan, I'm telling you, I spoke to every single fish...
Interesting. Then I wonder how that even more...
Fish soup?
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to get our hands on some... Well, Any suggestions? Not a bad idea. Upe, what do you...
Honestly, I've already tried following Juri, but the guy's too cautious. Never meets with anyone.
Okay, so tailing's out.
No, we'll still need to tail him. But first, we need to do some groundwork.
Groundwork?
When you've worked in intelligence for a long time, you'll understand that no one can stay on high alert forever. Especially when he thinks he's about to win. Tomorrow morning, I'll announce his victory at Yuehai Pavilion. Take a guess what you think he'll do next. Be sure to arrive on time. You won't want to miss...
Sampai ngantuk aku dengerin ceritanya tuh. Tunggu sampai pagi ya. Turu. Mending ngelawan lah daripada turu.
A pleasure to be working with you.
Fast guys. Let's light it up! Let's light it up! I'm going in! Take flight! Yeah! Sakura swirl! Yeah!
Lament! Shut it! Here! Worthless! Worthless!
Opening box of Adepti tricks. Useless. My apologies. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Gila loh, bro.
Stay close and...
Ini di mana ya? Di sini aja kali. Show.
Sangonomiya Shrine is a sacred place where offerings to Watasumi Omakami are given. The area is
Kurang ya, kurang pas ya.
Sangonomiya Shrine is a sacred place.
Anjing lah. Kok gabut yang ngontek.
Sangonomiya Shrine is a sacred place where offerings to Watasumi Omakami are given. It's closed to outsiders. Sangonomiya Shrine is a sacred place where offerings to Watasumi Omakami are given. The area
Boring!
Sangonomiya Shrine is a sacred place where offerings to Watasumi the area is closed to outsiders.
Bisa nggak? Kurang. Dari tengah aku. Dari tengah. Haha. Lumayan sih. Ya oke lah. Rekam aja ya. Cetek Yelan. Cetek Yelan.
Reduced to just standing around. How absurd. Useless.
Gitu aja.